Hey guys, insert number 5, last one of the week. So we're in Alma chapter 7, the last half of it, specifically verses 23 to 27. Before we get there, Alma's sermon just on experience of testimony and how he got it. Now, he may have gone on to talk about how he interacted with the angel and had his change of heart. He may have talked about that. He doesn't record it time and time again, probably because it's already recorded. But he probably talked about that, I would imagine. Or they may have already known about it. But he speaks from experience. What I like is in 19 and 20 and a couple of other places in there, he starts off for I perceive, or I perceive that. Knowing that the Spirit's with him and he's using discernment is it's just beautiful to know that. I love that. But 23 through to 27 is the very last part of chapter 7 before we move on to next week's reading. It's the story of belief and experience with Jesus, and speak why of your discipleship. The why are you here? Why do you stay? Why are you part of this kingdom? Why are you in a Zion people? Why? What is your reason? Tell your story of belief. Tell your story of discipleship. So Alma continues with truth. He knows of Jesus and what he would go through for us all. So he talks about he's teaching them more Jesus-related things. And that these people just lacked knowledge. They had the belief, they had lost the pride, they were humbling themselves, but they lacked knowledge. So he's teaching them these things. So does his suffering actually make a difference in your everyday life is my question to you, because you will be reading this and you'll be going, oh, yep. So does Jesus' suffering that he had been throughout his life and what he continues to do for us, does it actually make a difference in your everyday life? I would hope so. It does to me. There are things that I would do that I stop myself from doing because I'm like, I know Jesus doesn't want me to do that. He suffered enough already for me. I don't want to do that. And it causes me to do things that would alleviate suffering. So it does have an influence on me every day. But does it have an influence on you? What's your influence today? Even if some days you just stay home, maybe you decide to reach out again by a message. I did that earlier. I'm yet to hear back, but I did. I reached out to someone who's been in my mind lately. I'm like, wonder how they're doing. There's a lot of things you can do, right from where you are, from your bed, from your sick bed, from your workplace, from wherever. You can pray for someone, you can do a lot of things. But I would say that actually what Christ did for us has more influence on our everyday life than we would like to even acknowledge or credit, or just don't think to credit to Christ. It's something that's just not quite there. It becomes habitual. It becomes part of our practice and our living, which is great because that means we're Christ-focused and Christ-centric. We're like, yep, we're there. But really be mindful of the fact that what he did in his suffering made a difference to us every day, the way we live. It really does. And when have you felt his rescue? Do you share your stories of belief? When have you felt his rescue? Because let's read. It says a few things, but let's just read verse 27 to finish off, because the rest of it's lovely. He reminds them about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob again. Remember, that comes up. That's reminding you you're part of House of Israel talk. That's reminding you that you're part of a bigger picture, part of the eternal plan, that you're not just someone out here in the desert or someone out here in a random city. Ask them some good things to do, to keep your garments spotless, like to keep repenting, to keep following Christ. 26, he's like, I've spoken these words unto you according to the Spirit which testifieth in me, and my soul doth exceedingly rejoice, because of the exceeding diligence and heed which ye have given unto my word. He knows he's being listened to, and he's like, when you give a talk and you know people are listening, it's so good, instead of them all like falling asleep or playing on their phones or whatever, which people are always going to do that. But if you can get, you can see that people are listening to you, it's like, oh my gosh, they listen to me, so it's pretty cool. And here, he's super excited because he knows these words were given to him by Christ and they're listening. That's exciting too when that happens. 27 though, he says, and now, he gives this blessing to them, and now may the peace of God rest upon you, and upon your houses and lands, and upon your flocks and herds, and all that you possess, your women and your children, according to the faith and good works, from this time forth and forever, and thus I have spoken. He gives them an almost apostolic blessing, is what we would call it these days. Because Alma felt the rescue. Alma knows these things. It's his story of belief that he's sharing. So, have you felt his rescue? Have you felt Jesus rescue you? Yes, I have. I have felt his rescue many times. Do you share your stories of belief? Yes, I do. I've written 2 of them and had them published. I've written others, have not had them published. Probably weren't as exciting to read, but that's okay for different reasons. But Speak Your Way of Discipleship. It doesn't have to be published. It doesn't have to be a page turner. It's your history. Speak your stories of belief because somebody out there needs to hear it. Maybe 20,000 people needed to hear some of the ones I wrote and got published. And great, that's fantastic. I don't ask for kudos on that because the inspiration was given to me by the Spirit. I don't need thanks on that. I don't need like, oh my gosh, you're fantastic. You know, people say it's great. I'm like, great. So help me write more to continue to help people. I don't need the accolades. I just want to help people with what I went through to try and help them get through what they're going through. And if anything that I've learned, and I'm starting to see this more now as I age, that the things I went through and the things I suffered through that I thought were pointless and annoying and frustrating and still sometimes think they're that, I'm now seeing fruition in what I learned through those times that I'm able to help others with and to help them to not sink as low, to keep them more buoyant, to lift them up when they're down, to be able to speak my story of belief in Christ, to know those things, to know my Jesus, and to speak of him in a way that is rescuing and true and relatable, means so much to them and lifts them from their darkness. And that is one of the biggest joys I think anyone could ever know. It's incredible to feel that. It's also what others actually want to hear. Again, a story from a book is great. Scriptures I will recommend every time. But if you have a testimony of what Alma's doing here and the way he's talking to them, and if you can share that and then back it up with your own, that is going to mean so much more. So one, if you're not feeling it, go seek it. Love people, share with people, and invite people to come. Come back, come in, come over, whatever, but invite. Invite that into your life, invite that into your space, invite that into your daily living. Tell your story of belief. Tell it in ways that don't even need words. Tell it in a smile to a stranger on the street. Tell it to a smile to somebody in the chapel corridor, like, I'm here because I'm going to take the sacrament because of my Jesus. That's how you're here too, right? You know, and it can be said with a smile. It can be said with a handshake at the door. You don't even have to say anything. It's like, I know why I'm here, and I know I'm glad to see you're here too. It can be so many different things. The temple is a beautiful place for that because you just need to make eye contact and smile. I did a session with some of the missionaries that had served in our ward. They're currently serving elsewhere, and they said, oh, we're going to be at the temple. Come do a session. I'm like, of course. Was I in pain from falling last Sunday? Yes, I still have bruised ribs, very sore. A lot better today. But I went, and I'm glad I went. But we didn't get to talk to each other beforehand, and I just got to see them in the actual endowment room. And it was just a knowing look and a smile of like, this is part of my story of belief. And their look back was, yeah, it's part of my story of belief too. And that's all that was needed. It is a strengthening and sharing of testimonies. It doesn't even need words sometimes. So have a look for that. Are you sharing that? Interesting stuff, right? Okay. Great lesson to teach this week too, especially around all those interview questions. I'd highly recommend as a teacher that you focus there, but honestly, prayerfully do what I do. Just what is going to be best for your class and what is going to mean the most to them at the time. And a lot of time, I don't even know that time standing in front of them. So I prepare material and then I go with it like I do here. Minimal notes, and then I speak from the heart what the Spirit gives me. So, hey, good times, right? Alma chapter 8 to something or other next week. Haven't even looked because you know I'm that organised. I haven't, but it's good. He gets into Amaniah and meets Amulek, and Amulek goes from being like what to biggest supporter of Alma's missionary companion. Yay, there we go. It's really good. And it's only about 82 years before Christ. Suddenly, like at the beginning of the year, where we're 600 years right before Christ. Now we're like 82 years. We're a lifetime from Christ coming. Wow. I wonder how long it is till it is, like, is it in my lifetime? I don't know. I'm already nearly 50. That gives it about another 30 years. Could happen. I think I'm not going to be here though. Pretty sure I'm not going to be here, but still. Anyway, Thanks for joining me this week. I hope you had a great one, guys. A great week, and just stay safe out there. Keep doing Come Follow Me, read your scriptures, and I'll see you next week. Love yous.